Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome. Today's topic is John S. Ray's Oberlin College Diary, 1945, Part 16. This was originally published as a Zook Family Memories Collection number 42, or ZFMC 42, on November 23rd, 1992. It's the beginning of his senior year at Oberlin College. October 29th, 1945. Indian summer was still here this morning, so I finished up the fence, cleaned up the backyard, and helped Mother take down the screens. He was at home in Sandusky, Ohio. This afternoon, Dad and I loaded up the car, and we started for Oberlin. I might say that the men's building is in rugged condition right now. There is still about 2 weeks' work or more on the redecoration. Cement and sand are all over the place. Bruce Partridge came in this evening. There are quite a few World War II veterans back, and they seem to be good Joes. Joe Kent is one of the head counselors. Looks like a new era is arriving. 9 of us had a little session down at Timmy's and then serenaded 3 of the girls' dorms afterwards. Really a fine way to start off the new term. October 30th. Wayne Duff came in this morning. We are located in the biggest room in the building up on the 4th floor. The room was in a mess, and we really gave it the once-over. We also did a pretty thorough job of requisitioning furniture for the room. Nothing like getting here a little early, I always say. This evening, Wayne Duff, Snyder, Marty Hayward, and I went to the story of G.I. Joe. Very good. Then Timmy's and a big session at Crawford. October 31. I slept late and registered this morning, then checked around the campus this afternoon with Duff and paid my term bill. This evening we all went to the all-college sing and rec. A big jam and a lot of old familiar faces. Timmy's afterwards and one frigid time in Crawford's backyard. My aching feet. November 1. Today we had our first shot at classes. Psychology looks like it will be a sleeper in class, but interesting. Found out that I picked up a D+ in advanced quantitative chemistry. Very discouraging. I talked with Dr. Steiner about it, and he is expecting at least a C+ in my last 10 hours of chemistry. That will be a pretty rough deal. I stayed in this evening and bowled with the lads. November 2. This has been a full day. Physical chemistry looks plenty rugged. My English literature course is poetry and drama instead of prose as I had supposed. Philosophy of religion is going to be the original dull course. Physical chemistry looks tough. Marty Hayward's brother and his wife had twins this morning. Double trouble. We have finally gotten our hayride plan set. Now I suppose it'll rain tomorrow. Bob Slaughter had a date with Mary Martin this evening, so I gave him her picture. Then I did a little studying with Dick. Then bowled with the lads again, and Taylor and Miller seemed to be really good Joes. November 3. Had a rather interesting little discussion in psychology class this morning on the validity of the human soul. This afternoon we listened to a thriller between Ohio State and Northwestern football. Ohio State won in the last 2 minutes of play with Schnitger's field goal. What a ball game. Dick Hagner came in this afternoon. It was great to see him again after nearly 2 years. He may be discharged in time for the spring term. I hope so. Our hayride came off without a hitch, except that Marty Hayward and I didn't get situated. We all had a big time at Presti's afterward. Wes Simon, Bob Graves, and my brother Dick are all sleeping in here on the floor tonight. November 4. I spent most of the day in my sack, got up in time for dinner, and did an interesting literature assignment this afternoon. Then bowled this evening, and I'm going to bed early. November 5th. We're having classes in advanced organic chemistry for the first 6 weeks instead of lab. Sounds like a good deal. Dr. Taylor read us a ballad about Mattie Groves and Lord Arling's wife this morning that was really a killer. Dr. Nickel has a cold. Too bad. Bruce asked me to assist in physics lab this afternoon. Just managed to keep ahead of the lads. Very interesting. Marty Hayward and I had a rec and library date this evening. November 6th. The weather is still pretty decent. I wonder how long it'll last. The psychology quiz wasn't too bad. I spent an hour in the Vars this morning with Wayne Duff and Gretch. I think she is on the make. Then had a long snooze this afternoon. Bruce Partridge and Jerry are now officially engaged. Oh my. Rather unfortunately, I was elected social chairman of the MB this evening. One of Marty's twin nephews died this morning. Hope the other one makes out all right. November 7th. Dr. Nickel cut class again, so it was only 3 classes and a lab today. Dr. Taylor came out with another good ballad this morning. Physical chemistry lab is getting a little rougher. It's going to be a bother. Bob Slaughter and I recreated late this afternoon. We went to rec in the library this evening. Slocum and Jack Langner were at our little party at Timmy's. Jack is looking really fine. Chet is sleeping on the floor tonight. November 8th. I have been working on physical chemistry nearly all day. These Thursdays are going to be bad days. I finished all but one problem by 11, though. Zuris and Slocum are on the floor tonight. Stan's new nose still has about 5 months' work to be done on it. I made arrangements for tomorrow night's refreshments. November 9th. This has been a big day. Think I hit the chemistry quiz all right. We had a ballad singer in literature this morning. Dr. Nickel must still be sick. I got right on the ball in lab this afternoon. We had one big party down in rec this evening. Nancy Wilson seems to be a very nice girl. Langner, Zuris, and Fritz are on the floor tonight. We bought a guest register this afternoon. Looks like we'll need it. November 10th. We had a big quiz in organic chemistry this morning. Not too bad. We all lounged around this afternoon and listened to the football games. Ohio State knocked off Pitt in the 4th quarter, 14-0. Marty Hayward and I went to the all-college. I think we're just about washed up. We had a session with the vets at Timmy's and had a rather lousy serenade afterward. November 11th. I worked breakfast this morning and then slept until noon. Had a very interesting time this afternoon listening to the symphony and reading poetry. Kent was up and told us some pretty good stories. I talked to a large group of students at the Kings about our Alaskan adventure. November 12th. I worked breakfast again, very enervating. Dr. Taylor read us another good one in literature. I had to instruct another new experiment in physics lab. This evening, Bruce Partridge and I went to see the movie A Song to Remember. The music was wonderful. It looks like we're going to run the freshman initiation Thursday night. November 14th. I had a follow-up meeting this evening at White House with the upperclassmen about the freshman initiation. The plans seem to be in good shape. November 15th. The initiation came off this evening okay. A big fire, good band, and a large crowd. November 16th. We kidnapped Mellinger this evening, but the Frosh found us. Palobinskas and Drummond were also grabbed. Jack and Roy took me out to Presti's to celebrate. It was a full evening. November 17th. Wayne Duff and I saw part of the soccer game this afternoon. Rough stuff. Had a good time with Nancy Wilson at the All College. November 18th. I worked breakfast this morning but got back in my sack afterwards. Then hitched over home to Sandusky in good time and had Sunday dinner. November 19th. Didn't do too sharp in a chemistry quiz this morning. The physics lab is getting very dull. The week's psychology assignment was very interesting this evening. November 20th. Psychology is getting very fascinating lately. I got back into my old form in scientific German this evening. The physical chemistry assignment has me stumped. I hope we don't have a quiz tomorrow. November 21. The old boy didn't quiz us in physical chemistry this morning. Very fortunate. Our religion lectures are almost unbearable now. I left the lab early this afternoon and got a little rest. Bruce and Hagner came in this afternoon. It is good to have the lads with us. We all went to the rec in Presti's. I'm afraid Nancy Wilson didn't enter into the spirit of the thing. I would say that we were terminated. November 22. Today was Thanksgiving, and I might say it was a good day. I got up about 10:30 and had a very pleasant bull session, cigars and all, until noon. 4 of us sang an amen to the blessing this noon. The dinner was all that we had expected. My aching stomach. Nancy Wilson asked to see me after dinner this noon about something. So we took a walk and had a long talk. I guess we're all squared around again. Anyhow, we're going to try it again Saturday night. I put in a long evening on chemistry. This stuff is really getting tough. Our 5th roommate, George, has been getting quite a bit of attention from the lads. November 23. We had a long quiz in physical chemistry this morning. Another good session in literature. I screwed off in lab this afternoon. We won the touch football championship by forfeit this afternoon. Then finished a chemistry assignment this evening and helped Bob with his German. A light blanket of snow came down during the night. November 24th. We're into behaviorism now in psychology, and it's really fascinating. This afternoon we played bridge and listened to Michigan knock off Ohio State 7-3 in football. Indiana won the Big Ten. Hudson came in this afternoon, and we all went to the All-College and out to Timbers. Fine evening, and I finally got to Nancy. This is certainly a unique situation and will require the kid glove technique. November 25. I slept late and poodled around until dinner time, then slept most of the afternoon, but got some work done this evening. November 26th. Think I picked up a C on the Organic Chemistry Blue Book, another fine literature class. I cut Dr. Nickel this morning. This evening we had a regular madhouse in here for 3 hours and didn't get too much done. Bruce Partridge asked me to be his best man. November 27th. I found a mistake in my calculations in physical chemistry and saved myself quite a bit of work. This evening we beat the faculty 3-0 and Second West 2-0 in volleyball, so we're off to a good start. Wes Simon came in this evening. He's been discharged and is returning to Oberlin next semester. He's going to work here in the meantime and stay up here in the room until he's caught. Wes, Duff, and I went down to Timmy's for a few brews. I'll have to cut German tomorrow. November 28th. I cut 2 classes this morning and finished up my lab experiment this afternoon. Then I went to students to hear Nancy Wilson play. She said that she did very badly. Sounded pretty good to me, though. We went to Ole's and had a long talk afterwards. I'm going to let Wes have first crack at asking her to the formal. November 29. Was surprised this morning in psychology with a long quiz, then picked up loose ends this afternoon. Dulio called and wanted $225, but I think we can get him for $160. We won 2 more volleyball games this evening. I gave the lads the final word on the open house at the house meeting. Joe Schneidler, my flower competitor here in the house, is being very white about everything. He's going to drop out after this next dance. November 30th. I cut nickel for the 3rd time this week. Also got sleepy in lab and left 2 hours early. Took the swimsuits over for the splash party. Several of us went down to the shirt left party. We all had a good time, and Duffer located a nice little blonde klooch. A brew at Timmy's afterwards. December 1. We all listened to the Army-Navy game this afternoon. My bets gave Army an 18-point edge, and they came through 32-13. Good game. This evening we went to a splash party in Hales. We really had a rugged time. Nancy Wilson and I went to the All-College afterwards, and I might say we were beat. Matter of fact, I fell asleep in the Gables parlor. We're going to the Christmas formal together, but I don't know how much longer we'll last. She's playing the prostitute in the next ODA play. What a laugh. December 2. I slept late this morning. Dulio is definitely lined up for the house formal. I worked on my psychology paper in the library this afternoon. This evening, Wes, Duff, and I took Midge Garrett to the show because Slaughter wouldn't take her. Not a bad show. Simon is certainly a good Joe. We seem to be getting into the bridge playing habit. December 3. I pulled up with a C on my Organic Chemistry Blue Book. Bob Slaughter came through with an A and an A+ on his first 2. I hope he keeps it up. Wayne Duff was elected president of the February class this afternoon. I won 3 brews as a result. This evening we won 2 volleyball games by forfeit. I think we're going to take the volleyball championship. December 4. Have gotten quite a bit of work out of the way today. Finished off the Victor Meyer this afternoon in about 2 hours. Nancy asked me to go with her to the artist recital. Free ticket and everything. However, I couldn't make it and she asked Wes. I'm going to start wearing decent clothes to Gables in the evenings from now on. December 5. Another long day. I hit my German okay and did all right on the physical chemistry quiz. I was too sleepy to go to philosophy class and wrote my psychology paper this evening. I'm afraid I'm coming down with a touch of the flu. It's been going all over campus. December 6th. Each day seems busier than the one before. I managed to get out the faculty invitations this afternoon. My bug seems to be getting better, but Bruce has it now. Dean Bosworth is hot on Simon's tail. We won our 7th volleyball game tonight, 2-1. December 7th. This has been another full day. I just barely finished my physical chemistry report this afternoon. I don't think we did too well on the corsages this trip. This evening, Dick, Wes, Duff, and I went out to Presti's. We had a good evening. Dick and Wes were just a little under the weather. December 8. I managed to miss both my classes this morning. Very pleasant. Took 3 hours preparing my physics experiment this afternoon. Everything has been in a rush all day. This evening, 11 couples of us had a spaghetti supper at Presti's before the Christmas formal. Very fine. Bruce and Jer did a fine job on the decorations. Nancy looked really beautiful this evening. What a formal she was wearing. We had a session in Gables' backyard and got in 10 minutes late. I hope she doesn't get into any trouble. This has really been a fine evening. December 9. I got up in the middle of the night to work breakfast. It's pretty dark in the mornings now. Went back to bed, though. We all rushed around after dinner and got things in shape for the open house. Boy, oh boy, what a crowd. There were 211 that signed our guest book. It was really a bang-up success. Nancy and Jer were here all evening. Good kids. I knocked off a little religion this evening. December 10. My cold has been a little on the rugged side today. I was in the physics lab this afternoon until 5 o'clock working with the lads on Ohm's Law. This evening we took the vets 2-0 and won the volleyball championship. We played our best ball, and I might say we wouldn't have won otherwise. There was quite a gallery. Really good sport. We had a meeting of senior men about registering with the college about jobs. December 11th. I had a slight miscarriage in the psychology quiz this morning. However, I picked up a B+ on our first paper, then went to lab for about 20 minutes, but slept most of the afternoon. I put in some good solid study hours this evening. Wes has moved down with Mother Richards now, and I might say the room seems lonely without him. It's been snowing hard this afternoon, and the campus is very picturesque this evening. December 12th. Each day seems fuller than the one before. I think I hit the chemistry quiz all right. Finished a whole experiment in lab today. Really got hung up on my physical chemistry this evening. We're working with entropy in thermodynamics, and I might say it's rugged. Could only get 2 out of 6 problems in 3 hours. December 13th. This is the last of the 4-day study siege. I put in nearly all of my time in religion, and don't imagine I'll do too well tomorrow. There's quite a bit of snow on the ground. December 14th. The religion quiz was a little rugged. I predict a D+. I wrote out my lab report this afternoon and finally bought some galoshes. This evening, Nancy and I went to the Rec, her concert hall, and back to Rec again. She's quite the girl. December 15th. We had another blue book and a paper announced for next week. These next few days are likely to be rugged. I paid my flower bill and cleared $31 on this last dance. Better than I thought. I ran my tail off all afternoon. Nancy and I went to the all-college tonight and down to Timmy's afterwards with the gang. More and more I'm thinking she's the girl. It's colder than the dickens this evening. December 16th. We all got up this morning to work the white breakfast. All very nice, except I would much rather have stayed in my sack. Slept and chatted with the lads the rest of the morning, then sang in the glee club at the Christmas Vesper service in the chapel. I couldn't see the play since we were behind the curtain, then worked a little bit on organic chemistry this evening. I just can't seem to get interested in the course at all. The thermometer went 8 below zero last night. Winter is with us. December 17th. I didn't do too well in the organic chemistry blue book this morning. I predict a D+. I instructed another dull physics lab this afternoon. Then this evening we had our Christmas party at Gables for 4 little kids. I played Santa Claus and had a fine time doing it. One of the little girls really sent me. The Gables girls did a real job on the presents. Then I worked on my psychology paper and studied for the psychology blue book for 4 hours this evening. This studying business is driving me nuts. December 18th. This has been a very busy and profitable day. The psychology blue book this morning was more rugged than I had expected. I am now completely caught up in my physical chemistry problems. Nancy and I went to hear Rudolf Serkin's piano recital this evening. Really terrific. Then afterwards we ran into Harold Freilich down at Timmy's with the rest of the gang. He's been discharged. Good for him. We had a big old talk and he's staying over until vacation starts. December 19th. This has been one rugged day. I worked breakfast and had 4 classes this morning. Harold Freilich got quite a bang out of Dr. Taylor and Freddie Arts this morning. Nancy, Harold, Bruce, Jer, and Midge came over to visit me in physical chemistry lab this afternoon. They were all very much impressed. This evening, Nancy and I went to Rec and out to Presti's. The snow-covered countryside was really beautiful. The Presti's brawl was a little too rugged to suit us. December 20th. I had my last class this morning at 9. Harold and Bob both hitched out. A Waldock salesman picked Dick and me up this afternoon and brought us over to Sandusky. Pop is in bed with the flu and has been for several days. However, he should be up shortly. I am pretty beat and I'm sacking out early. December 21. I slept late this morning, but made my 11 o'clock dental appointment. 3 teeth were filled, and I might say it was not too pleasant. I mailed my Christmas cards and bought some presents this afternoon. My sister Carol is growing up into quite a young lady. Uncle Fred showed us how to play hearts this evening. December 22. I put in about 6 hours on physical chemistry today. Darn good thing I did this stuff over vacation. Dad is feeling better this evening, but now Mother seems to be getting it. Rather unfortunate situation. There's quite a bit of snow down now. December 23. Mother stayed in bed today, but Pop is feeling better. Dad, Dick, and I fixed the meals and did the dishes. It's been a very sleepy day. December 24. Mother and Dad are both going to stay in Sandusky over vacation because of the flu. Dick and I hitchhiked down to Marion, Ohio this afternoon. The last few miles were pretty rugged. Grandma Zook doesn't look as good as usual. We had a big dinner at Aunt Mary's. Barbara and Bill Comstock are in another touchy situation. I was Santa Claus at the Christmas party at Aunt Helen's. The group was much too small. 6 of us played poker until 3 o'clock this morning. I won $1. The streets in Marion are all just sheets of ice. December 25th, 1945. We slept until 10 o'clock, had a big breakfast at Aunt Mary's, and hit the road for Sandusky. One fast ride brought us right through, very lucky. Had a big Christmas dinner and hit the sack for 4 hours. We played a little poker again this evening. Somehow Christmas hasn't seemed at all like Christmas this year. December 26th. I slept late again this morning. My dental appointment for this afternoon was canceled. Then I bought a good pair of shoes for $6.50 this afternoon. David Morgan stopped in for a while this afternoon. We went to a big double feature this evening, one of them a good old Tarzan thriller. December 27. Mother and Dad are both feeling better this morning. This afternoon, Dick and I packed up our stuff and hitchhiked back to school without too much trouble. Bruce Partridge is already back, and Bob Slaughter came in just after I did. I spent about 4 hours at Gables with Nancy this evening. December 28th. I had 4 long classes this morning, then left lab 3 hours early and came home to sleep. Nancy and I went to the rec and took a 12 purr. We're going to start going to students and doing some reading together. Hard to believe, isn't it? Dick Schaefer is staying with us tonight. He seems to be a good fellow. December 29th. I picked up a big B in my psychology blue book, then worked on flowers this afternoon and sold $2.55 on bottles. This evening, Nancy and I went to the All College and had a fine time. Nothing but a big day. December 30th. I awoke promptly at 12:30 this noon. Wayne Duff came in this afternoon and we all had a big bull session. Flowers have been selling like hotcakes. Nancy Wilson and I read 60 pages of Thomas Hardy this evening in the Gables parlor. Very enjoyable. We organized our liquor consumption for tomorrow. The boys, I mean. December 31, 1945. At the outset, I might say that this has been a big day. I worked breakfast and had 3 classes this morning, then picked up a big C+ on my religion blue book. Then instructed the physics lab this afternoon. Just about went to sleep on my feet. The lads had gotten 2 more 5ths in Illyria, and we knocked off the first one before supper. 11 couples of us went out to Presti's for a steak dinner and champagne before the dance. 2 glasses of champagne knocked Nancy out cold. We had a rugged time finding Pat and bringing her out too. Pat sobered Nancy up with a hot-cold shower, and she was all right at the dance. We also took care of another 5th before the dance. There was a tremendous crowd at Hale's, about 325 couples. From 12 to 1, Nancy and I had a big session behind the bandstand curtain. Then another 2 hours at Gables. She seems to be getting laryngitis. I hope she doesn't really get sick. There was quite a mob in the room when we got back. We finished off the rest of the whiskey, sang in the new year, and are really ready for the sack. Well, to be continued. That concludes today's presentation of John S. Ray at Oberlin College, 1945, Part 16. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history. If this is something that interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old diaries, letters, and photographs, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.